Hello and welcome back to the LPL Summer Playoffs. We're coming in for our final game tonight, Suning Gaming versus TOP. We have very much a real series on our hands. The fact that Moyu comes in, TOP look like an entirely different team. I actually don't know which team is going to finish up this series.
And this would be such a massive leap for TOP. No one thought that they would be able to advance as much as they did this split. Remember, they were one of the last place teams in the LPL, probably only above Vici. But this time around, making it all the way to third place in the Western Conference was truly an eye-opener. I want to see their story continue.
Suning, of course, getting fourth place and them getting third, this is when the seeding does matter. Remember, it's a first to two versus a first to three. The fact that TOP got one game in the series, while people can still come out of the series and say that Suning Gaming are a better team, all it matters is how many games you take out. So for Suning to take 2 games, congratulations, but you still need to take that third. And that was a great momentum builder here for TOP.
For sure. Everything just looked way better for TOP. I know we're having this conversation off air, Clement, looking towards Suning Gaming. It's just like, what do you need to now to put towards on your team? Is it Xiao on the top lane? Do you just need to facilitate him? Are you trying to simultaneously contain Korn? Like, if you have one thing that you want to improve for this final match, what would it be?
For me, I would still like to see them have a little bit more focus into team fighting baskets, because their composition in the previous game just was never going to work 5v5. Yep. That was a very poor 5v5 comp, and I don't think they have the skill advantage to really close out on the comps that they are drafting themselves. A lot of times it still does come down to team fight composition, and that's pretty much the thing that we see with middle tier LPL teams is we're a fighting region. If you don't fight, the fight still comes for you, and you still have to step up in those situations. So I feel like they're trying to play too surgical, too technical, but not really within the realm of our region.
And looking past the composition, they had an early game lead. Suning Gaming, pretty strong around Olaf and LeBlanc. So for what they have here, what I would like to see from Suning Gaming is if they pick another composition that has a timer, play faster. Play as fast as you did in the earlier game, where you can look for dives much earlier on. That was, even though Fury was having a bad time, it wasn't a Fury game. It was an Angel game. An Angel and the jungler didn't do too much to actually propel their advantage.
But here's why I think that Suning Gaming probably can't do it. Throughout this entire series, I feel like TOP has had the vision advantage. Defensively or offensively, they've had more vision wards around the entire map. And you could see Cat that game, just with the mobility on the pike, he was able to keep Suning outside of their own jungle for minutes on end, wait out the power spikes of the Olaf and the LeBlanc. And if I'm Suning and I see this situation happen to me 3 times in a row, I might start questioning myself. Is putting a timer on myself such a good idea?
Maybe. I mean, it sounds like you're pretty behind TOP now, Clement. I know coming into the series,
I actually predicted TOP.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like that was your initial prediction, but then obviously the faith wavered as we got through the first and second game. So are you fully back on the TOP train?
Oh my God, this one can go either ways. We're talking about 2 teams with the lowest Baron control rates out of the entire
that is correct.
Playoff split. So right now, I do feel like TOP probably still has the advantage, and I will go for TOP, but it's not a super confident vote. It's more like a 60-40%.
I don't think anyone in this series right now is feeling too confident about themselves. Maybe the momentum coming out of TOP. I would favor actually Suning Gaming because I feel like the squad is still much stronger mechanically. I think Korn is still a major spear that they can utilize. And I want to see if Korn can continue to style. He's been the most consistent player of the series thus far. And I think that right now, if you give him the Aurelia once again, I would be surprised Suning did it. But if they do it, then you would give him the advantage. And I want to see what the pick he would be able to give himself. And also if Suning Gaming can actually play around it. Because playing straight through Korn, there's enough support coming out of Cat and also XX to actually stop that from being a viable strategy.
Yeah, and you're also looking towards top lane. Moyu was a massive change for the team. I mean, not only just in terms of draft, but how he was playing as well. There was constant flanks coming in from him. Either it was started off by him or simultaneous with XX, and they just looked rejuvenated, to be honest. So looking towards these team fights, that's where a lot of the power has come from the TOP, and it didn't seem like that was really there for the first 2 games. In fact, they were just walking into the Suning traps over and over and over again, and it almost put band-aids over the problems that we have seen from Suning Gaming, because they always just had an advantage to every single time. They were just fighting handicapped.
Yeah, and if you think about how the match started the last time around, they actually lost the bot lane incredibly hard. It was an absolute disaster. And when we think about that situation, TOP are able to win with just their solo lanes. They don't need that much contribution out of their bot lane. If their bot lane is able to roam around the map and put vision down, that's enough for me. I'm happy with that result, and I want them to continue with that thought process. They've never really been hyped about the bot lane success, so just focus onto your solo lanes and make sure that they get enough leverage over Suning to really take away that individual mechanical advantage that Suning enjoy.
Yep. Suning themselves, though.
I mean,
As
take
you
a
said,
look
right.
at Corn. I want to talk about Corn once again. I know he's looking fresh today. He came in with it randomly. He doesn't usually come in with a fresh haircut, so I just wanted to give him like,
Yeah, it's
look
I
good,
mean, it's
feel good,
playoff week,
apparently.
man. It's just like the time to get a haircut.
he knows
now,
the
is it?
camera's going to be on him, so why not have like the spotlight ready? Why not look good for the camera when you're going to be performing this well? So I know we're getting straight into the pick and ban. If Blue Side's being picked up from TLP once again, you're almost secured the Aurelia pick. I think he's going to go back on it.
Ooh, and just like you said.
I just wanted to give that one a quick second because as soon as you said it right to champion select, and there's the Aurelia. Yeah, it's going to be a first pick of the Swain as well. TOP banned away the Rakan, the Tam Kench, and the Camille. Soon in gaming with the Akali, Aatrox, and Kindred. It will be a first pick of the Alistair and Kai'Sa.
Oh, and I love the fact that Suning are
Alright,
going for the
alright.
wombo combos. They realize their big weakness is that they're not clean enough to go a game without a 5v5, so they're looking forward, and Fury has been able to do that. He's been a great Ashe player in the past, and really his utility part of him has really just been this split, so I like to see him going back to what he can achieve.
And honestly, RNG, their next round opponent, is going to be looking at this, and they've just seen all of the strategies come out between both TOP and Suning Gaming, because both of these teams going to the final game have just shown exactly what they've been performing.
Yep.
You're probably not going to see lives again because that strategy's been outed. And then for Suning Gaming, they've actually just went away from their AP strategy back to what's made it known in the regular season. The only surprise is Fury now on the Kai'Sa, showing that they actually need to fight out in these team fights.
I mean, if there's any time, you've got to show all of your cards right now to try and even advance to the quarterfinals here in this fourth and final game. TOP, the Aurelia, once again, I just love to see Korn on any of the hypey picks that we've seen over this last bit. In fact, over this last season here for him. And Sejuani in there for the Jungle for XX.
We do see bans being taken away from Xiao here. Another two flanking and engage options. This is pretty interesting because overall, Xiao is still very much expected to get the last pick. So it's a testament to how small the champion pool they think Xiao actually has, where they can actually ban him out like this.
Yeah, LeBlanc, Fiddlesticks, assuming looking towards potentially the Trundle. We were waiting to see the Trundle actually in earlier games.
Yeah, and going into the second phase and still being gifted the Trundle, you can already see how much respect Xiao Al is garnering to be in second phase and be getting the Ornn and Vladimir ban. You wouldn't see this from any other team, really. And so jungle is usually the role you can get the easiest bans across. But now giving him the Trundle allows for a great combination from not just the Alistar Yasuo combination, but the Yasuo and Trundle pillar.
I see this Kled hover. The words of a great man. Just do it. Just lock it in. Let's make it happen. It's great in the last game. And it didn't seem to matter what Xiao picked on the top side. The Ornn wasn't able to stop the Kled from being a monster in those team fights.
Yeah, the full run back. I mean, the Pike is still something you can, I suppose, respect here. But with Shen being out there, why not just add another bruiser? Feel like he was getting poked a little bit too much by the LeBlanc last game. So he was like, you know what? I just want to be a little bit stronger.
Yeah, I mean, the last game is just like a catch just felt, well, I want Alistar, I want Pike. I just want to feel strong. You know, those are the straight cat picks right there.
Oh, he was probably gonna. He was hovering over the beefcake, but didn't want to go for that.
Too many
one. Just
muscles,
all
too many
locked in.
muscles.
Yeah,
Gonna
too
have
much
to pull
muscle.
back on that one.
Exactly.
Seriously?
I mean, I think he's just memeing.
He's
at
making
this
jokes.
point. He's like, you remember this pick out of game 1 and game 2?
It didn't work, but I'll show you how to make it work.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I really don't think so.
No, it's more likely, yeah, he'll probably pick something like the Gnar. I mean, we've seen it out of Moyu, we've seen it out of Xiao, all split long. So, to not see it in this final game, I would be shocked.
I mean, we're talking about wombo combos. You add in the Gnar for the mix, and I know we haven't been seeing too many builds specifically for Mega Gnar in team fights, so we might just still see Xiao out in side lanes. But if he's forced to come into these team fights, then not only is the Trundle pillar there, but also throw in Alistar, Mega Gnar coming through, Yasuo. Suning Gaming want to fight once you get to the thick of things, and they're challenging TOP.
Yeah, it really does look like Suning are packing a punch for pushing TOP back. TOP are still going to be able to get in the team fight. That's what you get when you have Shen and the Kled. But Suning are able to have the crowd control to at least keep them at the front lines rather than the back lines. Now, Xiao Al's Gnar is actually really special in that he always builds Randuin and the Frozen Mallet. He's a very teamfight-oriented Gnar, not like Duke or the Shy that we've been seeing, which are much more offensive-oriented with Blade of the Ruined King and Wind's End.
Oh yeah, often rushing towards that Wind's End as well here, but no, not in this game. And I'm just glad to see this roster with the ability to take the team fight to the other team and not just honestly collapse like a house of cards.
It just depends, because remember, he's going up against Kled, and you match Kled in a team fight, Kled probably wins. I think in those situations, you want to be able to go split pushing, because Kled, stick him on a side lane, force him in a 1-3-1 position with Yasuo on side lane. It's smarter to have him build towards Blade of the Ruined King. But this is a good challenge to see if naturally, if Xiao wants to play towards a team fight, if he feels more confident in his team in those settings, then there we have it. We understand what the true Xiao is, but we'll see the true Xiao, because this is going to be likely his last game of the year if he loses here.
Yeah, definitely very high stakes right there, but if I'm a Kled player and I see a Gnar building offensive, I'm actually pretty happy. That's a very easy Gnar to run down. So for me, I have a bit of a differing perspective. I think, of course, he can still do the split pushing with a tankier build, but I think the Gnar, in the end, is still there for the Mega Gnar knockback.
Hell yeah, he is. I just want to see what we do, like what we get out of Xiao in those team fight situations. It's about the burst, honestly. Alistar headbutt pulverize combos. Same with the Yasuo ultimate. All of that is, you can't fight in a sustained setting unless if the start of the team fight looks beautiful.
It's just a wombo combo through and through, but there's still the tools on TOP to take those team fights as well. We'll see which team is going to take it as we get on to the Rift for a final time tonight between TOP and Suning Gaming.
Now we're back. I mean, we've seen one game where there's been a special level 1. And that's been fun to see from Suning Gaming. Do I expect that once more? I would say yes, I like the Suning Gaming level 1 once again, and they've been a team that's willing to actually experiment a little bit more, maybe get a cheeky early level 1 to stop XX in his tracks. That's how they got their early advantages last time around. It really made it difficult for XX to be getting any form of resources pre-level 6, so that should be a good idea.
Well, indeed, take a look at those keystones as well. Going to be TOP starting on bottom side. Going to be Fury stepping up here, just seeing who's going to be passing through. That's Chocho, so I'm going to give you the Caffeine Rain.
I mean, two options you usually see from Kaisa: press the attack or go towards Fleet Footwork in this case. Fleet Footwork because he recognizes it's going to be a tough lane. I think Yoon should be sweating bullets a little bit. Melee support. We've been seeing a lot more Alistar globally just because it's been easier lanes to play through without having these kill lanes, but Chocho and Cat still playing him. It's going to be Yoon's been getting the brunt of it.
Yeah, I do like Suning's strategy. Their jungler Disar on the bot side as well, but they want to avoid the level 2 all-in that can come from the Shen and the Swain. They play this combination a lot themselves. They definitely know about the level 2, so they're just having their jungle clear on his own and make sure they're not surprised on the level 2.
Yeah, TOP just moving towards the top side here with XX. Chal getting the early push down on the... No, to be expected. It's the Kled matchup, to be honest.
Yeah, Kled can't really do much before he gets the level 3 Joust against the Gnar, so he's going to have to sit back for the early levels, and this does allow Hacker to go into the jungle.
Yeah,
Hacker's getting a lot here. Yeah, double Scuttle Crab means that he gets so much experience. Sure, XX is matching level 3, but he hasn't even taken his own red side jungle. So Hacker's is going to go back, take Raptor's red buff, and he's going to be having more experience than XX could dream of.
There's now a window here between levels 3 and 6 here for Moyu, though, onto at least mini Gnar. You land the Joust and the Q. You can actually deal some pretty serious damage. Gnar is pretty fragile up until level 6.
Basically, if you get the Joust combination, the first proc, onto a level 3 Gnar, you can actually just one-shot him. It depends on the masteries, but if you do take the sudden impact, there's actually a pretty good chance you just kill him in one rotation.
Yeah, sudden impact and press the attack. I mean, there's an unbelievable amount of execution damage coming out from Violent Tendencies, so Shalan just needs to be aware of that in the next 3 levels.
Being aware of it is definitely something, like, issue here is still a pure melee to ranged matchup. So for Xiao, he's going to be pushing in naturally. He's going to be having a major CS advantage here. Sure, this is going to be a big wave, but that's going to be great for Xiao. He could punish under the tower. So this is heavily in the Nara's advantage. And he's going to be having Trundle behind him. So you should only expect Xiao to get those minute. He's going to be building the lead here. Moyu definitely wants the trade, but I'd be surprised if he can ever get it for himself.
Yeah, that was just a great wave stacking coming in from Xiao as well. Holding out the wave far away before it gets into tower. In that position, it's actually very hard for the jungle to even gank you because he has to fight against the wave as well. And then just pushing it in with the second wave. So really damaging Kled where he doesn't have the AoE wave clear early on.
Yeah, and XX even pathing towards the bot side anyway, so no jungle help on that one. He's just trying to farm up levels right now. Hey, 2 players on Suning Gaming, just hit Master. Congratulations.
Nice.
Hacker and Angel. Bot lane's going to be Chocho and Cat on the swing pick once again for Chocho. What a world we live in where it's Fury not on the mage, but it's actually Chocho. He's been picking up a few recently as well, including the Ahri.
Yeah, Chocho does like his mages. He's actually a big Morgana player. Probably the biggest Morgana player we have in the LPL in terms of bot lanes.
Chocho is definitely one of those players. He's understood his role, much like Jin Zhao actually. I would say he's very similar to Jin Zhao in the sense that he knows what his role is on the team, and he plays it fully. Cat leaves that lane. Chocho needs to just take as much experience as he can in the position that he's in, while still being able to join the team fights and help out. So that's been the role of Chocho. He's been a great team fighting AD carry for his squad, but in the laning phase, he just gotta chill out.
Top lane, this is getting a little bit awkward. This is at least one hyper proc. Yeah, Xiao about to go mega. Bottom lane, a bit of a skirmish right now. Yoon puts down the ignite. Chocho kiting back, will flash away as soon as he sees XX rock up.
There we go. Honestly, if I'm XX, you come back. You're just in a position where Alistar doesn't have flash. Being said, Moyu's in a tough spot.
Yeah, he does want to get remounted by attacking Hacker, forcing him out of the pit, but he's now...
Oh, flashes on towards Xiao. I like the play, but now he's low himself. It's
Minion!
the cannon's actually going to town on him right now. But here comes Chocho. He's eventually going to go down. Xiao gives him the thumbs up, and Chocho, I respect it, but that's first blood.
That was a great flash in from Xiao. He waited until the never move was already expended for Chocho onto Hacker, and then he knew he was safe to flash in and just finish the kill.
The other flash, too, that happened. Moyu wanted to be courageous, trying to bring Skarl back, somehow call him back so he can get the violent tendencies off. Wasn't enough.
Oh, but he just died, and now he's in the bottom lane. They weren't expecting this one. Yoon's going to fall. Fury chasing them back, though, because Xiao comes up to the play. Cat runs back to the tower. Not going to be enough damage.
I mean, it's not enough. Maybe they can try for it. Here comes Yasuo.
Oh, Angel coming in for the play right now. He spots Cat, doesn't have the way, doesn't have a way to get back on top of him, but the charge comes through, and unfortunately, yeah, Fury just sees it coming from a mile away, walks off, and will just disengage from the play. So just the one kill.
There we go. Charge forward. You think you're gonna try and hold me in under my own tower? That's not happening. That's real fun. So right off the bat, we mentioned gank bottom lane again. Yoon doesn't have flash. Maybe you can get him. It happens. The death comes across. Right now, TOP are so focused on this bottom side, and there's so much CC to support it.
Yeah, I felt like Suning Gaming, they probably did overcommit a lot. They had Yasuo down there, expended a teleport, and got nothing out of it. The only thing they really got was just Mori's ultimate. So they're sure that that's not going to happen. But it was definitely, I would say, a bit of a mistake to invest that many resources into that fight.
So this was the top lane fight. This was fun. Flash from Moyu so he can get violent tendencies and get closer to having Skarl back up. But now the minion wave, massive. That's a school of minions right there. Provides enough space for Xiao Al to get the kill.
Yeah, and I felt like if Chocho played that a bit smarter, he would have held on to the never move. That would have prevented Shaolin from just flashing in and picking up the kill right there. But unfortunately, he did have his focus waver and try to go for Hacker instead, who he's never going to kill.
Yeah, I appreciate the play. Rotating into the top side, but wasn't enough, and that Kanami was definitely paid off. He was a secret agent.
Yeah, he was.
He just followed them all the way back behind this tower. It's XX. He just wants one crab this game, man. I don't think he's gotten a single scuttler.
You can try it. That's the life of Sejuani. You think Sejuani would be a great pick for these team fights, but the road to level 6 is a tough one. Even when you get level 6, no one respects you.
Yeah, it's just a sad day for Sejuani. But, I mean, typically you look at this, it's like, it's got great single target control in the jungle. She can just instantly kill the crab. Should be totally fine, but top lanes get involved there. Bottom lane, 2 versus 2 once again. And Fury is dropping real low. Chocho is already on top of his face, looking for this pop right now, but he's stalled by Yoon. Still going through this tower. He wants to get in range, but Yoon, the ultimate bodyguard.
That was insane. Suning able to walk out of that level 5 versus level 6. I think you have to thank Yoon for using all of his crowd control absolutely correctly and in the right timing to prevent the walk up from Chocho.
Yeah, Chocho sending out his ultimate, still had to wait a little bit for the cooldown to reactivate, and even then, you're right, bodyguard Jin just saying, don't even touch me. Wasn't even close, but that was a good look, but he expended his entire soul fragment towards not a kill.
Oh, expertly played there from Angel. I mean, just played Korn for the full as he chases him back to the tower, force out the channels. Then in comes XX for the counter gank, gets the knockup, doesn't have anything else. The last breath already used, Hacker down, and Korn, he wants more right now. He's going to jump on top of Angel, make that the double.
This is disastrous for Suning Gaming, trying to get a kill on towards Korn, but here comes Korn again. Where are you going, buddy?
Xiao, he turns into the mid lane, but it wasn't quite mega. He was looking sketch for a second.
Is this the year of Korn? I'm gonna ask that question. Is he gonna?
Uzi,
he's looking for the finals, man.
He's picking up his phone. He's like, "Where's Cola at? We're bringing the family back.
Let's go." I mean, Korn is just on fire. We just have a kill on the bottom side while all that was happening. Now I think one went over to Fury.
Yeah, Cat probably didn't tell Chocho that he was leaving the lane.
All right, let's find out. Stopwatch is still there, but you know, you're probably not going to use it. Probably not going to happen. This is the best thing about going up against the Kai'Sa lane, is that all it takes is that. That was actually very close.
All right, yeah, I want to know actually how much HP he had, and he looked bounced back from like single digits.
He must be tilted. You know, if I'm Chocho, I'm like, I deserve that trade.
Yeah, that should have been a 1-for-1. Feels bad for him, but again, Korn, I mean, he's got the backup of his team. They're playing towards mid lane, and Korn's just a monster mechanically. Looked like that was going to be a clean kill on towards him.
Honestly, double buffs, even proccing was a defensive rune over there. So for Angel, who's pushing the lane against that fed of a Korn, that Aurelia is going to be doing mad deeps. In fact, right now, I think Korn is just trying to buy time for his Sheen that he's going to get in his next back. Once he gets Sheen, it's not going to get any better. At this point, he's going to be hunting for a fight. He just wants to get that. That's this timer. Oh, yeah, what are we going to be looking at? Oh, that's actually the fight that we caught earlier on. So this
great start from Angel here, but look at that. He even dodges out on the ultimate, but the Shen, I feel like Angel actually flashed way too, like he didn't need to flash right there. He already saw the stand.
Diving in a torrent right now onto Angel. He's already low. He's about to drop. There he is. Korn gets another kill. Hacker trying to escape from this one, and Moyu will tank all of these tower shots.
This is the TOP, remember, from the regular season. It's just Moyu joining his team. I didn't even have to see how that started off. We just know how it's happening. It's the Kled train straight through the mid lane.
Yep. And remember back to when Urgot was doing that? No, because it didn't happen. Urgot just stayed in top lane forever, but this time Moyu constantly rotating, constantly getting these kills for his team. And again, another punish into the jungle. Hacker's dead. Xiao tries to rock up to the fight, but he's caught in the Vanguard's edge. He's going to try and flail, but not to any success. Chase underneath the tower, another kill to Korn.
And that was a great swap of the aggro right there. Moyu dismounting meant that XX could tank the tower further on, and they go for 2 extra pickup kills that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, the reality of the situation here for Suning Gaming, it's quite grim, is that they can just dive you for days. 3 bruisers topside. I'm referring to Sejuani, Aurelia, and Moyu on the Kled. If they feel like they can dive you, that's how these games are going to end early. They will dive you. It's really ruthless here, and Suning Gaming aren't surviving it.
And I actually felt that that series of events should have been better for Suning because they were in a phase where there was no Stand United, Korn didn't have their flash, but Suning Gaming not able to make any use of that timing window. Now all of the offensive tools are coming back online for TOP.
TOP, this time they're just straight up leading coming out of laning phase. I mean, we're looking towards Suning Gaming. We're saying this is the team. Look at their execution. Look at how they coordinate in the early parts of the game. They can stop TOP before they get to team fights. 30 minutes into the game. 3-0-1 Korn.
Yeah, and XX is on a tank pick. Something that we were saying that, you know, don't be on because you need to be taking an aggressive step forward. But his adjacent lanes are doing so well that he can trust that situation. Korn and Moyu have just excelled, not in just this game, the previous one as well. So now he can just play that defensive lineup. Right now in the Sejuani, 2-0-4, you can't get past her.
Yeah, it does look like Suning, they need a Mega Gnar play from Xiao right here to kind of equalize the situation. we have seen Moryu, even though he's down behind in CS, really take advantage of the Tiamat and the lane push that he does have in the top side. Constantly going over to mid.
He's just picked up a dagger right here. So we called him out for being the Randuin's guy. He likes to go purely for those team fights. First item, Black Cleaver. And with the makings of an attack speed item, we might see him being in those side lanes trying to keep Moryu locked up there or down there in the bottom lane.
Yeah, the worry that I have now, and even though I wanted to see a Blade of the Rune King Gnar coming into the game, he is behind. A Blade of the Rune King Gnar going up against a Kled that's got that much experience through just roaming across the map, now is going to be having Black Cleaver fairly soon. That I think it's going to be pretty difficult for Gnar to realistically deal with him. I think Aurelia and Sejuani are actually going to be looking topside a little bit more, and Shao might not survive that.
Yeah, for Moryu, he's not really looking at the lane anyway. It's pretty hard to get a Gnar low at this point. He has enough HP where he can kind of withstand your first burst, and then he's just kind of free to do whatever he wants. So I don't think the Blade of the Ruin King, like you said, is necessarily that useful in lane. It's more around the mentality of just trying to keep him pinned down as much as possible.
Yeah, and maybe they can actually get these side lanes.
Korn in the mid lane opening up onto Angel. Flashes after as well. Last breath is good. Buy some time for Hacker. Korn sits in place, asking for a timeout. Here comes the duet, and he's going to jump back towards the minions.
Oh, there was a red buff on Hacker, but he doesn't go any further. Doesn't know where the rest of the members are on for TOP.
You can already see what Korn is doing, trying to take advantage here, but here comes Kled.
Yeah, Moryu wants to move towards mid lane, but he'll go top lane too. Shout out, about to go Mega though. Comes in with a hop into the crunch, but he's pinned in place. He can't even transform right now. And Moryu chasing him down with XX, still knock him down.
You know what? Sure, you lost Skarl off of that, but that's a kill. We were talking about how this top lane is going to be rough for Kled, or at least, I mean, Gnar, because he's going to be dealing with a lot of people. And that's the first one. Sejuani comes top lane. Korn didn't make a visit because he had a problem happening in the mid lane. So he had his own appointment.
Moryu and XX, I mean, uncontested topside. Trundle's going back to base. They'll pick up this tower. And it will be the first tower off the game. We'll see if XX will be a nice Sejuani and give it all over to Moryu.
This is a good old-fashioned snowball. Usually teams are trying to trade across the map, but this is double stopwatch Swain Shen. That is very hard to dive. It just isn't going to happen. So the game's excelling to a point where, yeah, Fury can scale, sure. He just has a Guinsoo's Rage Blade, nothing else to his name. So he needs one more item before he does any real damage to the bruises that are going to be trying to dive him. Doesn't have it.
It's such a massive difference when TOP actually focus on the top and mid side of their map and really play around what they've been playing throughout the entirety of their regular split. I just think that for them, their bot side is more just about vision and utility, and when you match the jungle focus with your best players, you have good results.
Now, in the Clement playbook, I know it says contain Korn. Now, is there a second page for if Korn escapes containment? Like, can you get him back in, or is he just...
The outbreak is on.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of those horror films where it's like there's a strategy here, it's plan B, because plan A is just out the window, and it's the blank page. Even worse, it's been ripped out, so you just have no idea anymore.
Yeah, it was there, but no, Korn ate it. And now he's looking for a chase down onto Sunian Gaming. The stun is good. He's just perma-stunned right now. Massive knockup coming in off the last breath there, and Hacker tries to get away from the play, but Korn is going to slice and dice everybody to death. Yoon locked in place. Cat with a great shadow dash, and now Xiao wishing he didn't even turn up to the play because he's being chased as the slow comes down. He will be able to escape with us with the blast cone, but another 2 kills to TOP.
Look, I respect it. I do. I love it when I see those kind of plays because that's how you get back into the game, but out-sustained. Way too much HP and armor coming out of TOP. They're way too strong at the moment to deal with what's essentially just a Phantom Dancer, Yasuo.
And Suning really need to get Xiao into these plays first because they're getting out-rotated incredibly hard. I don't think it was a good idea to step out and there contest when Stand United was also up for TOP.
So I just want to see it just for the visuals, man, just for the aesthetics, because this is beautiful, that is beautiful, but then you have to finish the fight, and that's where the problem starts because no one's going to be able to do that. Angel's too squishy, doesn't have the damage to boot, and immediately, with how beefy this lineup is from TOP, they can chase you down.
And new Aurelia is making a comeback, does much more sustained damage in the later phases of the game as well. So this is only going to get worse. She's not the old Aurelia that does have a quite sizable fall-off point.
And remember, Steric's gauge still hasn't even been built up. So For that to be built up, then Aurelia is just going to be on a side lane, constantly looking for those dives. Fury got it last time around. It's only going to get worse here now. He's going straight towards the AP build, so Nashor's Tooth, that's going to be interesting. Might have a better chance of chipping down to these healthier targets. But issue is now, I would say just based off the damage alone, if he gets Nashor's Tooth, then he won't have the ability to evolve his second ability. That's what you get from having your Storm Razor, is being able to evolve both your Q and E. Not going to be able to get the Q evolve.
And the fights are great coming out from TOP, but the biggest stark difference for me out of like these latter two games compared to the first two is that they actually have good setups to their fights.
Yeah.
You know, like it was usually just someone wandering into a depth rush being set up by Suning, and that's just the hallmark of their play. They'll just set up and they just know where you're going to be, and they'll start off the fight on their terms. We haven't really seen that in this game. It's been TOP either getting a pick themselves or just immediately rushing with a numbers advantage.
TOP actually had the highest teamfight win rate pre-20 minutes. And that's coming from a team that's not in a particularly good region, not in the top of the standing, and very, very much impressive for this new team. They understand how to make rotations work, and if you give them enough leeway, especially in these two solo lanes, to move around, they can create plays out of thin air.
Suning Gaming just kind of thrown through a loop, you know, and we said in Champions League, it's nice to see them with team fight options here, but we haven't really gotten to see it. Again, looking to open up into corner. Last breath is good. XX is being stalled out by the bottom layer here from Suning, but Korn is still alive somehow. Fury takes him out of the killer instinct, follows up with the Acapian Rain. Fury kiting back on this one as Chocho is running straight through the fight because we're but so does Xiao Ao. Big play by Little Ao, but now he has to back off. Eunice there, turned around, triple knockup once again, but Xiao Ao locked in place and about to be locked down. He can't get any help from Hacker, and the door is held open. Here comes Shadi, massive win coming in for TOP.
And Mori even remounts to avoid being killed right there. They find the bounty, but the entire team of TOP shows up to back their captain up. Korn does fall down, but TOP win the fight.
This is going to be massive here from TOP. Look at this.
Feels like a worst case scenario. You're right, the parade is in full force, honestly, just going straight through the mid lane, and there's no one to really greet them, which is even more unfortunate. But crazy, because that was great for Suning as a start. For them to rotate so quickly, 5 members in on that, and they had a head start at being able to chip down at Korn and still lose the fight that decisively. And it mostly was off the fact that Fury was in the middle of 4 people. He's a mid-range 80 carry, and so when he's right beside 4 massive targets, he's going to get shredded. They didn't have the time to fight back, and that's really telling for this game.
And this is the biggest play. Korn able to survive so long that he forces Fury basically to suicide himself just to get that bounty and finish off the kill. XX coming in at the right time, and Fury is just, like you said, in a bad position. He's been caught up by Moyu. XX is on top of him. And of course, Chocho just finishes the kill. Even with Xiao L on a quadra knockback, they don't have any more damage to follow up the fight.
Yep, they're consistent damage. They're Yasuo and the Kaisa, and they're both out of it. You could say Xiao L, but at that point, coming into the fight, they just got completely bursted. Remember, that's full soul fragments on Swain that was able to burst 4 people. That was enough.
He's got immediate access into the backside. I mean, he was just right in the middle of 4 juicy targets and just let loose. And TOP, I mean, they've just been getting advantage out of these fights, out of these skirmishes. On the bottom side, though, Xiao Ao, will decide to jump back there as Moyu hits the charge button, maybe thinking there's got to be someone behind him. Bit of a cat play right there.
Yeah, there's either that or he believed that he was going to be able to survive long enough. Remember, Kled still has stopwatch, so a possibility of... Oh, there we go. So he survived long enough. That answers my question. That's, that's what it is, man. Sometimes you question them, but Kleds are crazy out there.
Yeah, we got to see it in action. Cat jumps to the backside. Phantom Undertow is good as they chase them back once again. Yoon has got the ultimate running, but here comes Hacker and Angel trying to support the team. Another charge dash out from Cat. No casualties just yet as they kite away. XX trying to keep them in place for the rest of the team. And Chocho trying to get in there, but Kled apparently just... Oh, he killed the tower.
But even though it doesn't amount to a kill, you're right. Now the tower's gone, you got to go to the inhibitor. Like, this should be a free inhib, knowing that 3 people are here to defend. They just don't have the damage because they don't have a raw 80 carry. So no ranged AD means you just can't walk up to it.
That was a pretty insane defense coming
wait a
out.
minute.
Oh, last breath, it's on to Chocho. In comes Xiao Ao, lands the double man, a knockback right into Cat as well into this fight. Yoon pushes forwards, and Moyu coming up the
Fury.
backside. Can he turn this fight around here for TOP? Yes, he can! Fury drops like a sack of rocks right there. Chocho with the damage. Yoon, 1 versus 5. He's dead. 3 kills to TOP.
How does Chocho always have 5 soul fragments? Where is he getting it from?
I don't know. Someone's handing them to him.
Well, it's all in his back pockets, and the damage is real right now. 3, 2, and 3. Sure, it doesn't look too good, but his teamfight presence is massive.
Someone check the refs. Someone's just walking around handing him soul fragments. Both of the Nexus turrets about to fall right here. Nexus exposed. Angel trying to get into this fight. The Nara is dead. Angel doing what he can, but they're on to the Nexus. 24 minutes. TOP take the series by storm and advance to the quarterfinals.
What a comeback for TOP. In that kind of a situation, to come back with so little, that was insanity. But they needed that buffer game. It felt good for them. They rode the momentum of the last game as well. Excellent performance from the squad.
And TOP showing their true colors in the final game, doing what they've done all split long, but it took them to Game 4 and Game 5 to really wake up and showcase how good they are at pre-20 fights themselves. The setups were great, the communications, and I think the jungle focus improved so much with Mori coming back onto the roster.
It was just a different team, to be honest. If you told me that they just subbed in 5 different players, it's just a new team now, I'd be like, yep, yes it is. Because it was just entirely different in the early game. They managed to match Suning getting tit for tat and toe to toe in every single skirmish in the early game. They actually had the setup plays themselves. We saw priority. We saw proactivity coming out from TOP.
And remember, 4 games of playing, more than 3. And the reason why that matters is because you have a little bit more time to adapt in a series in comparison to your regular season. So that's what TOP did. They adapted. They came in with their initial strategy, as you mentioned, and even though we could meme about it and it didn't work out well for them, they knew going into Game 1 that they could do it, that they had the ability to see if it works. If it works, there we go. You have that extra time in which you can utilize. But they were pushed to the limit. They brought out Moyu, and he came out and performed. So for TOP, great time for experimentation, and at the end of the day, coming back. That's what they're best at. Excellent play from Korn.
And throughout all of that, like you said, I think Korn was the main pillar that TOP was able to stand up upon. Throws a lot of questions to SNG. They lost Knight this split, and it does seem like Angel probably isn't going to be able to step up to the really top tiers mid laners of the LPL yet.
Yeah, I mean, Korn, he broke out of containment, and no one could get him back. He was just out. He took off his tracker. It's like, you can't catch me anymore. Taking down the policers who were chasing him down. That was it. That was it. Korn was out, and he was just destroying everybody. I mean, those latter 2 games, even in Game 2 on that LeBlanc play as well, Korn was just an absolute monster.
Yeah, I mean, people will look at this result-based analysis, pick Aurelia 2 times in a row, and 2 Aurelia games will come through. So, I mean, sure, his Aurelia performance was great, but you're right. Consistency throughout the series. If TOP, now they know they're slated to go up against RNG, it's going to be Korn going up against his former roster. It's going to be Korn going up against Uzi. That is a great storyline, and it feels like a redemption period for Korn that went to the LSPL at one time, changed his name to Miss, trying to find himself, comes back to the LPL, and is performing at the top level.
Yeah, it could not be a better time for actually Korn to be going up against RNG, playing at top form as well. You know, I feel like Korn's definitely come full circle, and now he's back up to full power. So I just want to see. We just bow down to Korn right now. It's just like, there you go. I mean, the guy is going to drag this team over the line.
And that relationship has to be so complex for him right now, because even though they were both finalists, Uzi went on to be hot commodity while he was shipped back into the LSPL, and the 2 lives that they've been living could not have been more different.
Oh, hell yeah. It's rough. And so, like, just knowing that he has the support of Moyo alongside, I want to see what the replays look like, because for TOP, it was a tag team battle. It felt like they were coming in on a lot of the fights.
Yes, indeed. We're going to take a look at this mid lane fight right here, and it looked good to set up here for Suning. They managed to block XX, but then Korn in the 1 versus 3 essentially survives for this long.
And remember, the TP's coming up behind them. This is where your real worries come through. Fury just getting targeted, but that was the name of the game. It was Korn buying enough time. Maybe he gets a few kills, but if he doesn't, then the rest of the squad comes in hot. TOP's team fighting was just way too difficult to fight. This was actually a period in which it was too late for Suning Gaming to really come back. This was a great rotation from Suning Gaming, but I mean, Yasuo was already like 3 kills down. Top lane was already getting...
Yeah.
It was unlucky for Xiao Al because it wasn't that his lane was just that bad. It was that Kled just left.
Yeah.
Kled took his bag and went towards bottom lane and was getting a lot of resources off of it.
And that's the problem with that matchup. You really need more jungle pressure and to really contain Kled and just keep him in the lane the entire time. I felt like he didn't take the top lane tower fast enough. There wasn't enough resources thrown that way. And what you saw was happening for Suning Gaming was that they were thinking about the core. They're thinking about, man, we have to kill this guy multiple times. But if you really kill the Kled early, you take his tower down early, that's a much more effective containment rather than him having just the Tiamat and able to basically play Mahjong with you and just
And it just felt like it was just too much really to contend with at the end, because it's like, yes, all right, we can maybe contain core, and I think by the end of game 1 and game 2, game 1 was containing in lane, game 2 was, well, you're just going to stall out because you're LeBlanc, and then game 3 and 4 is like, well, we now also have to do with Moyu.
Yeah, I think that there's just way too many threats when it comes to this squad. So remember, I mean, like, the fact that the first threat, that Korn's coming out with the Aurelia pick, yeah, a lot of teams will just say, I guess we'll just kind of push it away from us, maybe ban it in the next series. But the multiple threats that you're referring to is what people have to remember the most. That, sure, Chocho had great team fights, but people will forget about him. He had great team fights, but they're not going to be focusing on him at all. But, like, it's top lane, Moyu.
Yeah.
It's... also XX in the jungle that has actually progressively got better in the series. The fact that I thought he was mental boom off of what game 1 gave him, but no, actually was still able to come back and still play a Sejuani pick when he's known as being a much more aggressive jungler. So top side for TOP, I mean, it's in the name and it's there for a reason. They're a team that will hit you in the top side of the map, and Chocho will come out later in the team fights.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Chocho will take our MVP, so congratulations to you, but... oh, no,
he says Xiongxiong.
Xiongxiong, Bear is the Chinese name.
I just got debated hard right there.
Now, this is a lesson for you, my friend. Learn the language. Learn his nickname. Learn the name XX, because I feel like you see what he has in his hand. The guy who's firing off this game, 2-0 and 14. This is a very strong performance on the Sejuani.
And the most important thing is that he was always there when Korn was at his weakest. He turned around multiple fights where they were all inning onto Korn, trying to contain him, but he was there with the Sejuani, and I felt like he rebounded very well from the early deficit as well. Yep. Having his early jungle taken away, no scuttle control for the first 3 rotations of the scuttle, doesn't matter for Sejuani. He's able to play safe and still have an impact.
Playing safe was important. Remember now, going towards her blue buff, really early on, it was just a red-blue start, just saying, I already know what happened in game 1. You're not doing that again to me. And then so started out very safely, got to level 6 with both side lanes doing incredibly well. It was just a patient game from XX, and I think that's what we really needed out of him if he was playing that supportive pick, is that we needed to see him play it safely. He has confidence in what Korn and Moyu is bringing, and I thought that it paid off. Yeah,
exactly. He was the setup there to allow Korn to actually do what he wanted to do. Let's take a look at the bracket, see how it's now shaping up after our first round 1 game. First round 1, a best of 5. TOP taking out 3-2 in points. Now moving on to take on RNG. Of course, it's a bit of a step up in terms of competition for sure. Imagine having to face RNG in the quarterfinals. But you can see tomorrow we'll also have JD taking on FPX.
It's never an easy road for a team that has to come out of the round 1 spot. And the thing for them is that we already know what TOP has in store for RNG, unless they have a few more Gouda to bring in. Maybe they bring in Marin. Either way, 2 more days till we get to find out.
I feel like RNG must have something else, because I remember we were casting that set, Clement, and they drafted the same thing every single time, 3 times in a row.
Kai'Sa is just the best AD carry right now at 8.16, so no problem right there. But I'm so glad we started off on a full day. It's very often that on the first rotation of LPL playoffs, it just is a 2-0. There's only 2 games played, and it ends right there. Jingdong and FPX are going to be there tomorrow.
And remember where the championship points come in. TOP as a squad, we're definitely not in that race. BLG used to be number 5, but remember, BLG and Snake not there. Their spots are going to be given off, and TOP now finds themselves in the bid for either the gauntlet run, maybe they go a little bit farther. Either way, their eyes are on Worlds, so if they can get those championship points, that would be beautiful. Yeah,
they're climbing the ladder right now. There's still a chance, but obviously a lot of points have already been picked up in the spring split by the Big 4. So there's still a chance for any of these teams, you know, looking towards TOP, maybe even JD as well, who will be playing tomorrow, as one of those teams who can potentially make a run.
The only way that TOP drop out completely is if JD Gaming can actually take down one of the top 4. That would mean that TOP don't even get to play qualifiers. But to be honest, that's still a very long road to go, and we're going to have to see how JD Gaming perform when they do go up against FPX, and maybe if they can take down EDG.
If there was to be an upset in this entire bracket, I will now give you guys a chance. What's it going to be? Predict the future.
We have the same
Is
one.
it going to be an upset?
JDG versus EDG. That's the big upset coming.
Is that even an upset? Honestly, JDG's taking EDG. I'm not even lying.
It's
JDG.
an upset in terms of LPL history.
Yeah. You don't think there's never been a time in which EDG had been kicked out of the bracket that early on. So the fact that they're going to be coming in, and there's a chance that a new upstart team like JDG, that in and of itself for historians coming into this one, seems like an upset. But JDG, you do have to watch out for that.
I mean, we almost had the script being changed, because if RNG lost that set against JD, then we would have had a stacked bottom side of the bracket, and then we would have had a different finals. But there's still a chance it's going to be EDG versus RNG. The script is safe. The script writers are just like, oof, my job's
already
safe.
wrong. So I thought Suning Gaming were going to move on. So going on to what's the set tomorrow, JDG going up against FPX, I just don't trust the system anymore. I don't trust the script. I saw that first script. I ripped it up. Maybe it has more information on it. Maybe I ripped up the LPL
Do we look
script.
at the other side? I think we did.
Yeah, it does say TOP over there, but you were not only wrong about the matchup results, you were also wrong about the Baron steals. They never happened.
Oh, no.
I
didn't
bet
bet anything.
To be a Wigs.
I just didn't bet anything.
On
We're
day
good.
2.
I don't have to do that anymore. So, that's all I'm
Yeah.
fine. I mean, even if you give me another wig, I will rock that wig just as well. So, I'm just saying, tomorrow, JDG going up against FPX, I am done with bets. I don't trust anyone. And so FPX, even though it feels like they just kind of sauntered, just waddled right into the playoffs because it was Snake in the final day that gave it all up, losing 2 sets. In fact, losing crucial sets against teams that were below them in the standings.
Yep.
FPX must have learned a lot. And I think as a squad, they've been getting better and better. Can they take down JDG? I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, Clement, I know you were talking about this backstage. And it was just like FPX had never made it past, what was it, 5th or 6th in the standings, and then he was whoop.
Yeah,
and
they
then
did
we're
it on the
in playoffs
last
now,
day.
yeah.
It was the celebration story that, the celebration party that no one attended. It was on the last hour of the last day, and people just didn't get the memo. And honestly, FPX, they still have such a long road ahead of them. They're a very confusing team. People don't really know their real play style. They change from this one to that one. Well, on the other hand, JD Gaming is very firmly locked into being an early game team, to being a team fighting team. So that one is very much into JD Gaming's favor. My only question would be, what does the meta shape up look like? Because I feel like in today's games, we actually didn't see that much of a meta shake up. It was still very much about the players and their own champion pools. So far, we've really only seen the LeBlanc come out, but I think that's going to change tomorrow.
Yeah.
We have been seeing slower paced games, more team fight based games, more pitch battles happening, and that's what I do expect a little bit more out of tomorrow's matchup.
Yeah, and we've already been speaking about it, so you've probably already been spoiled. To make sure that we're not lying, though, let's take a look at tomorrow's matches. It's going to be a JD taking on FunPlus Phoenix.
So, of course, remember, once again, you're in round 1, so weighted best of 5. JD feel like they shouldn't have been here because on the final day in the final series, they were fighting for the 2nd seed. They lost it. So now they're just sitting here having to play the extra best of series. So going up against FPX, they have to be on par. Going up against Cool, individuals, FPX have them. FPX have great individual players, and so JDG have to outthink them.
Who's got the bigger brain? Cool or Yugao?
I think Yugao. The picture looks a little bit bigger.
Yugao?
Yeah. Definitely has the bigger circumvention.
Yeah, well, of course, we'll be
around
looking
that.
towards the top lane as well for Zoom, because when we were looking at the
Number 1.
All-Pro, the All-Pro rosters, Zoom there in number 1.
Zoom number 1, and also when we're talking about tanks coming up in the top lane, Gimgoon has usually been the player that says you're bringing up tanks, you're bringing up a Nautilus, I'm bringing up a Fiora. So whenever we're looking at a creativity in the top lane, Zoom versus Gimgoon is actually going to be super fun to watch.
Exactly. And speaking of Zoom, I know that you were talking to him just a couple days ago, actually, Clement.
He's a very interesting player. He's a very cheesy player, in fact. We do remember him for playing the Yorick. He says he definitely has a lot of things prepared inside of his back, and I feel very confident about JD Gaming, the so-called 1,000-pound team going forward into playoffs.
Yeah, Clem's face-to-face with Zoom will be coming up very shortly, so make sure to keep your eyes peeled for that one ahead of tomorrow's games. Make sure to watch that one. But for now, though, we're going to close out the show. From behalf of myself, my casters, everyone in the English production crew, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.